My own mother abandoned me at the airport when I was just 15, all to enjoy a luxurious vacation with her new husband and his kids. You can figure it out, she shrugged. I stood there watching her walk away with her perfect little blended family, dragging their matching designer suitcases toward the gate. She didn't even look back. Not once. I had $23 in my pocket, a dead phone charger, and absolutely nowhere to go in this massive airport. That's when I remembered the business card tucked in my wallet. The one with the fancy logo I'd been carrying around for 3 years. My Aunt Diana's restaurant card. The sister my mom had been bad-mouthing my entire life, calling her a jealous failure. Diana's a pathetic loser. Mom always said she's jealous of our success and stability. Don't believe anything she tells you about our family. But standing there alone in JFK Terminal 4, watching families rush past me with their vacation excitement, I figured I had nothing left to lose. I found a payphone. Yes, they still exist in airports, and dialed the number with shaking fingers. It rang twice before a warm, professional voice answered. Bella Vista, restaurant. This is Diana speaking. Aunt Diana, it's Maya. I'm in really big trouble right now. The silence lasted forever. Then, in a completely different tone, baby girl, Maya, where are you? Are you safe? What happened? I started crying right there in the middle of the busy terminal. Mom left me at the airport. She took her new husband and his kids on vacation to Hawaii and just abandoned me here. What terminal are you at? I'm coming to get you right now. You don't understand. I'm at JFK in New York. You're all the way in Chicago. I can't ask you to. Maya, honey, listen to me carefully. I have 3 successful restaurants now. I'm not the broke failure your mother told you I was. Stay exactly where you are. I'm getting on the next available flight. 4 hours later, I watched a confident woman in designer jeans and a cashmere coat rush through the arrivals gate, scanning the crowd frantically. She looked exactly like Mom, but her eyes were kind instead of cold. When she spotted me, she started running. I've been waiting 10 years for this phone call, she whispered, hugging me so tight I could barely breathe. I've tried reaching you so many times, but your mother blocked every single attempt. The ride to her luxury hotel suite was completely surreal. Diana explained everything while ordering room service. How she'd built a successful restaurant empire from nothing. How she'd been sending birthday cards and Christmas gifts that Mom apparently threw away unopened. How she'd even hired a family lawyer once to try for visitation rights. Your mother told everyone in our family that I was a drug addict who couldn't hold a job. Diana laughed bitterly. Meanwhile, I've been featured in Chicago Magazine as Entrepreneur of the Year 2 years running. That night in the hotel, Diana showed me years' worth of returned letters with refused stamps, photos of elaborate birthday cakes she'd made for me each year, and bank statements proving she'd been setting aside money for my college fund since I was born. I'm not letting you go back to that toxic woman, she said firmly. We're calling my lawyer first thing tomorrow morning. The emergency custody hearing was swift and decisive. When the family court judge heard that Mom had literally abandoned a minor at an airport to go on vacation and saw the documented evidence of Diana's consistent attempts to maintain contact over the years, the decision was immediate. Mom came home from her honeymoon paradise to find an empty bedroom and official legal papers on her granite kitchen counter. She called Diana screaming bloody murder, threatening to call the police and FBI. Please do, Diana told her calmly. I'd love for you to explain to federal authorities how you abandoned a minor at an international airport. 3 days later, Diana got a call from Mom's new stepdaughter. The girl was crying hysterically, begging to meet in secret. When we arrived at the coffee shop, she showed us her phone with shaking hands. The photos made my stomach drop. Bruises on her arms, her younger brother's black eye, timestamps from their perfect Hawaii vacation. Your mom didn't just abandon you, she whispered. She needed you gone because you're old enough to report what he does to us. Before Diana could respond, the girl's phone lit up with a location tracker notification, and her stepfather's truck pulled into the parking lot. Diana's eyes went wide and she literally grabbed both of us by our arms. Bathroom. Now. Her voice was so calm it was actually terrifying. You know, like she'd been through something like this before. We rushed through the crowded coffee shop, and I could hear the bell above the door chime as it swung open behind us. Diana was already dialing 911 as she locked the bathroom door behind us. Yes, I need police immediately, she said, her voice steady but urgent. I'm at the Starbucks on Maple Avenue. There's a man outside who's been abusing these children, and he's about to... That's when the pounding started. The whole door shook like it was going to come off its hinges. Kayla! The voice outside was this deep growl that made my blood run cold. Get out here right now. You have 3 seconds or I swear to God. Diana held the phone up toward the door, making sure dispatch could hear everything. The girl next to me was Kayla, and she was literally shaking so badly I thought she might pass out. I grabbed her hand without thinking, just trying to ground her somehow. I can hear the threat, ma'am, the dispatcher said. Units are 2 minutes out, but 2 minutes felt like forever when you're locked in a bathroom listening to someone threaten to break down the door. The stepfather kept yelling, his voice getting louder and angrier. He was saying horrible things about what he'd do when he got his hands on Kayla, and honestly, I started wondering if the door would actually hold. Diana looked at both of us and said quietly, no matter what happens, you two stay behind me. Understand? The way she said it made me believe her, like she'd actually fight this guy if she had to. Then we heard sirens. The pounding stopped immediately, replaced by the sound of running footsteps. Diana slowly unlocked the door, and we peeked out to see 2 police officers already inside the coffee shop, and 3 more outside surrounding the stepfather's truck. They had him up against the vehicle, hands behind his back. One of the officers, this older woman with kind eyes, approached us. "You're safe now. Which one of you made the call?" Diana stepped forward and explained everything while Kayla and I stood there. I kept my arm around Kayla because she still couldn't stop shaking. The officer knelt down to Kayla's level. "Honey, I need to ask you some questions. Okay? And I need you to be completely honest with me." Kayla nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Is that man your stepfather?" Another nod. "Has he hurt you?" Kayla's face crumpled and she started sobbing. "He's been hurting me for months. And my little brother Marcus. He's still at home alone right now. Please, you have to help him." The officer's expression changed instantly. She stood up and spoke into her radio. "Dispatch, I need CPS and a second unit to 847 Pinewood Drive immediately. We have a minor alone in the residence. Possible ongoing abuse situation." She turned back to Kayla. "How old is your brother?" 12, Kayla whispered. "He locked him in his bedroom this morning before we left. There's no food in there and Marcus has bruises everywhere. I felt sick, like actually nauseous. This whole time I'd been upset about my mom abandoning me at an airport, but at least she hadn't been beating me." Meanwhile, outside, the stepfather was losing his mind, yelling about parental rights and how the officers had no right to detain him. "Those are my children. You can't just take them from me. I know my rights." Diana stepped toward the officer. "I'm the aunt of the girl who was abandoned at the airport. I have full legal custody of her now, and I have the financial resources and space to house both of these children temporarily if needed. I own 3 restaurants in Chicago and I have a 4-bedroom penthouse. I can provide character references, financial statements, whatever you need." The officer looked at Diana, then at Kayla and me standing together. "We'll need to contact CPS first, but I appreciate the offer. Right now, let's focus on getting this young lady's statement and making sure her brother is safe." A woman in a blazer arrived about 10 minutes later, introducing herself as Linda from Child Protective Services. She had this warm but no-nonsense energy that somehow made you feel both safe and slightly terrified at the same time. "Kayla, I'm going to need to talk to you separately, okay? Just you and me." Kayla looked panicked, so I squeezed her hand. "You can do this. Tell her everything. We'll be right outside." Linda led Kayla to a back room in the coffee shop while Diana and I waited. Diana bought me a hot chocolate even though I said I wasn't hungry. "Drink it anyway," she said. "Trust me, you need the sugar right now." She was right. My hands were shaking as I lifted the cup. Through the window, I could see the stepfather in the back of a police car, still running his mouth. "How did my mom even marry that guy?" I asked quietly. Diana sighed. "Your mother has always been good at seeing what she wants to see and ignoring the rest. It's a talent, really. A terrible, destructive talent." After about 30 minutes, Linda came back out with Kayla, who looked exhausted. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. "Kayla has provided some very troubling information," Linda said carefully. "She's disclosed that the abuse began approximately 6 months ago, right after her mother's marriage to Mr. Brennan. She's also indicated that he's destroyed her phone twice in the past when she tried to reach out for help." Diana's jaw tightened. "What happens now?" "We have officers at the residence now retrieving her brother. Once he's safe, we'll be conducting medical examinations of both children and determining the best placement." Linda looked at Diana. "You mentioned you could provide temporary housing?" While they talked logistics, my phone buzzed. It was Mom. "Where are you? Why are there police at my house? Call me now." I showed Diana the text. She read it and her expression went cold. "Don't respond yet. Let's see how this plays out first." The radio in one of the officers' cars crackled to life. We couldn't hear everything, but we caught enough. "Subject secured. Multiple visible injuries. Bedroom door locked from outside. No food or water." Kayla started crying again. "Is he okay? Please tell me Marcus is okay." The officer who'd been kind to us earlier came over. "Your brother is safe now. He's being transported to Children's Hospital for evaluation. You'll be able to see him soon." About 15 minutes later, another squad car pulled up and Marcus was in the back seat. When they opened the door, I swear my heart broke. This skinny 12-year-old kid with dark circles under his eyes and bruises visible even from where we stood, he saw Kayla and immediately started crying. They let them hug, and I had to look away because it was too much. Diana didn't look away though. She watched everything with this intense focus, like she was memorizing every detail. Later, she told me she wanted to remember why she was fighting, so she'd never back down. The stepfather was arrested right there. Multiple counts of child abuse, they said. He actually had the nerve to start yelling about how Kayla was lying, how she was a troubled kid who made things up for attention. One of the officers literally told him to shut up. That night was chaos. CPS had to make emergency decisions about where Marcus and Kayla would stay. Diana's offer was accepted after they ran background checks and verified her financial situation. We all ended up back at her penthouse in Chicago that same night, Diana having to completely rearrange her whole apartment to fit 3 traumatized teenagers. I helped set up the guest rooms while Kayla and Marcus sat on the couch, barely speaking. Marcus hadn't said a single word since we picked him up. He just stared at the TV, which wasn't even on. They're in shock, Diana whispered to me as we put fresh sheets on one of the beds. It's going to take time. Maybe a long time. The next morning, Diana was on the phone before any of us were even awake. She'd hired some family attorney who specialized in abuse cases, and apparently he was like one of the best in the state. I heard her talking in her office. I don't care what it costs. These kids need protection, and they need it now. Yes, I understand. Schedule the medical exams for today if possible. The medical exams were horrible. I didn't go in with them, obviously, but I sat in the waiting room with Diana while doctors examined Marcus and Kayla. When they finally came out, Kayla looked numb and Marcus was crying silently. The doctor asked to speak with Diana privately. I stayed with Marcus and Kayla in the waiting room. He broke my ribs, Marcus said suddenly. His voice was so quiet I almost didn't hear him. 2 of them. A few weeks ago, when I accidentally broke a plate washing dishes. Oh my God, I breathed. Did you tell the doctors? He nodded. They took pictures. And they said I'm really skinny for my age. That's because he locks me in my room a lot and I don't get dinner when he's mad. Kayla put her arm around her little brother. It's over now. He can't hurt us anymore. I wanted to believe that was true. I really did. But something told me this was just the beginning of a much longer fight. Diana came back looking furious. Actually furious. Like I'd never seen her before. Let's go home, was all she said. But her hands were shaking as she drove. That night, after the kids went to bed, she told me what the doctors found. Marcus had 2 partially healed fractured ribs, evidence of severe malnutrition. Kayla had signs of repeated physical trauma over several months. Both of them had been diagnosed with acute trauma responses by the hospital psychologist. That man is going to prison, Diana said, her voice deadly calm. I don't care what it takes. I will make sure he never touches another child again. But then things got complicated. Real fast. Apparently the stepfather made bail within 48 hours. How? His family put up the money using a joint account with my mom. And the second he was out, he started posting all over social media about how he was the victim of false accusations, how Diana was some crazy woman trying to steal his children. His whole family jumped on board too, calling Diana a kidnapper, saying she manipulated traumatized kids to get back at my mom for some imagined slight. The comments on his posts made me want to throw my phone across the room. People were actually supporting him. People who didn't know anything about what happened. Meanwhile, Mom filed an emergency motion to regain custody of Kayla and Marcus. Her lawyer, some sleazy-looking dude in a cheap suit, argued that Mom was also a victim of her husband's deception, that she had no idea any abuse was happening. She even provided text messages to Diana. Please, let me see my babies. I miss them so much. I didn't know. You have to believe me. I didn't know what he was doing. Diana showed me the texts and asked what I thought. It's bullshit, I said immediately. She knew. She had to know. Diana's lawyer thought so too. And apparently he was good at his job, because he started digging. Really digging. He found out that Mom had taken out a $50,000 loan against her house just 2 weeks before the Hawaii trip. Bank records showed the stepfather had been controlling all the finances since the marriage. There were multiple payday loans in Mom's name that she claimed she never authorized. But here's where it got really interesting. The investigator Diana hired found something else. The stepfather had a prior domestic violence charge from his first marriage. It had been sealed in another state, but they tracked down his ex-wife, and she came forward. Voluntarily. She provided testimony about his pattern of abuse, documented injuries to her own kids from 8 years ago. Prosecutors added additional charges based on her evidence. I remember the night Kayla finally told Diana why she'd shown me those photos. We were all sitting in the living room, trying to watch a movie, when she just started talking. I recognized you, she said to me, from your mom's old Facebook photos. Before she deleted everything about you, I knew you'd escaped. I knew you'd gotten away from her. And I thought maybe if you could do it, maybe we could too. She'd been planning to run away. Actually planning it. She had money saved, a bus ticket purchased, everything. But she was too scared to go through with it, until she saw me at that coffee shop and realized there might be another way. A better way. I'm glad you found me, I told her. And I meant it. Marcus, though. Marcus was struggling. Like really struggling. He stopped eating completely. We'd put food in front of him and he'd just stare at it, sometimes for hours. Diana tried everything. His favorite foods, letting him eat in his room. No pressure. Nothing worked. Finally, one night, he collapsed. Just straight up fainted in the hallway. Diana rushed him to the ER and they admitted him for dehydration. The doctors at the hospital figured out what was happening. He had severe PTSD around food. Being locked in his room without meals as punishment had completely messed up his relationship with eating. They kept him for 3 days, trying different approaches, getting him to eat small amounts. It was brutal watching this 12-year-old kid be so terrified of something as basic as food. And of course, Mom showed up at the hospital. Because of course she did. She tried to get into Marcus's room, demanding to see her son. The nursing staff had to call security. She got aggressive, yelling about her rights as a mother, causing a whole scene in the pediatric ward. Security escorted her out and she violated the restraining order by sending threatening texts to Diana's business phone. Threatening texts. To the woman who was literally taking care of her abused children. Diana forwarded everything to her lawyer. The stepfather's bail got revoked after that. Turned out he'd been trying to contact Kayla through her friend's Instagram account. Witness intimidation. Stalking. The prosecutors threw everything at him. He went right back to county jail to await trial. And you know what made me sick? He showed zero remorse about any of it. Zero. His only concern was losing his freedom. Mom's attorney suddenly withdrew from her case. Just quit! Cited ethical concerns and bailed. Diana's investigator found out why. The lawyer had discovered evidence that Mom knew about the abuse all along. There was Ring doorbell footage from a neighbor that showed Mom watching her husband drag Marcus by his hair into the house. Months ago. Before any of this blew up. She saw it happen and did nothing. CPS completed their investigation and recommended permanent removal of both children from Mom's custody. The report was damning. Pattern of willful neglect. Failure to protect. Testimony from Kayla's school counselor who'd reported suspicious bruises twice but was told by Mom that Kayla was just clumsy. It was all there in black and white. Diana petitioned for permanent custody of all three of us. Mom filed a counter-petition claiming Diana was financially motivated and trying to destroy her family. The custody hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks out, and honestly, those 6 weeks were some of the worst of my life. I started having panic attacks. Like full-on panic attacks about seeing Mom in court, about having to face her, about the possibility that some judge might actually believe her lies and send us back. Diana got us all into therapy with this specialist who worked with abuse survivors. Her name was Dr. Reeves, and she was honestly amazing. She helped me understand that my anxiety was valid, that I wasn't being dramatic or weak. One session I admitted to Dr. Reeves that I was terrified Mom would somehow convince the judge to send us all back. Maya, the evidence is overwhelming, she said gently. But I understand your fear. Would it help to prepare for different scenarios? It did help, actually. Just talking through what might happen made it feel less scary. The stepfather's ex-wife contacted Diana directly around this time. She offered to testify about similar abuse patterns with her own children. She had medical records documenting injuries to her kids from 8 years ago, and she revealed something crucial. The stepfather was never allowed unsupervised contact with his own children after their divorce. Family court had ruled him too dangerous. But my mom had married him anyway. The stepfather was offered a plea deal, 15 years if he pled guilty to all charges. He refused, said he was innocent, and demanded a jury trial. His public defender literally warned him that the evidence would likely result in a much longer sentence. He didn't care. I think he actually believed he'd get away with it. Mom's new lawyer demanded a psychiatric evaluation of Diana, claimed she had a savior complex and was using us to fill some void in her own life. The court ordered evaluations of everyone. Diana, Mom, all three of us kids. The psychologist assigned to Mom's evaluation noted concerning narcissistic tendencies in her initial session. I only know this because it ended up in the court records later. Kayla's best friend came forward with screenshots. Text messages where Kayla had begged for help months ago. Please, I don't know what to do. He hurt Marcus really bad last night. I'm scared. The friend's parents admitted they'd seen the messages but didn't report it because they didn't want to get involved in family drama. Didn't want to get involved. A child was literally asking for help and they ignored it because it was inconvenient. Diana's lawyer added their testimony to the evidence file anyway. The financial investigation got even worse. Turns out the stepfather had been running a sports betting operation and lost over $80,000 of Mom's money. The Hawaii vacation? Funded entirely by maxing out credit cards in Mom's name. And he had 3 other secret credit cards with over $120,000 in debt. When Mom found out about the money, she lost it. Completely lost it. She tried to kill herself. Overdosed on pills. She survived, thank God. But they put her on psychiatric hold. And that's when her parents finally got involved. My grandparents, who I'd barely seen my whole life because Mom had kept them away. They called Diana asking if they could see us. Meeting my grandparents was surreal. They were these normal, kind people who broke down crying when they saw me. We're so sorry, my grandmother kept saying. We knew she was a terrible mother, but we always made excuses. We enabled her, and we're so sorry. They offered to testify on Diana's behalf for custody, against their own daughter. That's how bad things had gotten. The criminal trial started and I had to testify. Actually testify in court about being abandoned at the airport. I was terrified. But Diana sat right there in the courtroom where I could see her. The prosecutor asked me to describe what happened that day. I told them everything. How Mom had walked away without looking back. How I'd had $23 and a dead phone. How I'd felt completely alone. When I mentioned that the stepfather had wanted me gone because I asked too many questions, the jury visibly reacted. You could see it on their faces. Disgust. Horror. The defense attorney tried to cross-examine me, but honestly didn't have much to work with. What was he gonna say? That I was lying? There were airport cameras, security footage, witnesses. Then Kayla testified. She described years of escalating abuse. Being locked in closets. Having food withheld. Being hit with a belt. She showed photos of bruises, scars, injuries. The courtroom was completely silent except for her voice and occasional sniffles from the jury box. Marcus was deemed too traumatized to testify in person, but his medical records and photos were entered as evidence. The pictures of his broken ribs. Documentation of his malnutrition. It was overwhelming. The stepfather's lawyer had nothing. No effective cross-examination, no credible defense. The jury deliberated for 90 minutes. That's it. 90 minutes to find him guilty on all counts. When the verdict was read, I swear I could feel the collective relief in the courtroom. He was sentenced to 25 years without possibility of parole. And you know what he did? He screamed at Diana. In the middle of the courtroom, "You destroyed my family! This is all your fault!" Bailiffs had to literally drag him out. Diana just sat there, calm as anything, and watched him go. Mom got released from psychiatric hold and immediately started a social media campaign. Posted old photos of herself with the kids. Called Diana a manipulative family destroyer. Several of her friends shared the posts, calling for people to boycott Diana's restaurants. It was absolutely insane. The custody hearing finally arrived. Mom showed up with her third attorney in 2 months. She'd lost so much weight she looked like a completely different person. Her eyes were wild, unfocused. Her own parents sat on Diana's side of the courtroom. That should tell you everything you need to know. Mom's psychiatric evaluation was presented to the judge. Untreated personality disorders. Complete inability to accept responsibility for her actions. The evaluator testified that Mom showed no genuine remorse and viewed herself purely as a victim. She recommended no unsupervised contact with any of the children, ever. Diana presented evidence of our stable home environment, our improved grades, regular therapy attendance, testimony from Dr. Reeves about our significant progress. I had a 3.8 gigapascals in my new school. Kayla had joined the debate team. Marcus was finally sleeping through the night without nightmares. The judge reviewed everything. All the evidence, the criminal trial transcripts, everything. Then he looked directly at Mom and asked, "Ma'am, can you explain to me why you abandoned your daughter at an airport?" Mom couldn't answer. She literally could not provide a coherent response. She said something about needing a break and thinking I'd be fine. Thinking I'd be fine. A 15-year-old alone at an international airport with no money. Her lawyer tried to present a reunification plan. Parenting classes. Therapy. The judge asked if she'd completed any of the recommended classes yet. She admitted she hadn't started. Too busy with work, she said. And she didn't think she needed them. The judge's expression changed when she said that. It was subtle, but I saw it. He ruled in favor of Diana. Full, permanent custody of all 3 of us. Mom was granted supervised visitation once per month, but only if she completed court-ordered therapy and parenting classes. She also had to pay $800 per month in child support total. Mom stormed out of the courtroom screaming that the system was corrupt, that everyone was against her. She posted a 40-minute Facebook Live rant that night, calling Diana every name you can imagine. Her own mother commented on the video, "I'm embarrassed to be your parent." Diana legally adopted all 3 of us within 6 months. I chose to change my last name to hers. So did Kayla and Marcus. We wanted to distance ourselves from everything that had happened. Start fresh with a new identity. A new family. Mom lost her house to foreclosure. Had to move in with her elderly parents. Got fired from her job after her employer discovered her unhinged social media rants. The debt collectors started garnishing her wages from her new minimum wage job at a grocery store. She showed up to exactly 1 supervised visitation session, and she spent the entire hour crying about how unfair her life was, how everyone had turned against her, how she'd lost everything. Kayla, Marcus, and I just sat there in silence. We didn't engage, didn't respond. What was there to say? The court-appointed supervisor noted in her report that Mom made no attempt to actually interact with or ask about the children. Mom stopped attending therapy after 3 sessions, never started the parenting classes. Her supervised visitation was revoked after she missed 4 scheduled sessions in a row. She sent Diana a text, "I'm done trying. The kids can just forget I exist." And honestly, that was almost a relief. Like we finally had permission to move on. 2 years later, I'm a senior in high school with a full scholarship to Northwestern. Kayla is thriving as a sophomore. She's captain of the debate team now and talking about law school. Marcus is finally opening up in therapy. He started playing basketball and actually made the team. He's even gained healthy weight. He smiles now. Real, genuine smiles. Mom reached out to me a few weeks ago. Used a fake Instagram account to get around the block. Sent me this long message begging for another chance. Saying she'd changed. That she understood now what she'd done wrong. I showed Diana. We filed for a permanent restraining order. It was granted based on the pattern of harassment. The stepfather's appeals were all denied. He's serving his full sentence at a maximum security prison. His first wife actually contacted Diana to thank her. Said that her kids were finally in therapy processing their own trauma now that they knew he could never hurt them again. Said Diana had protected her children when she couldn't.